Welcome back, making up for a bit of lost time today, it feels like, with another double feature movie review. And I'm stoked to share it. These are fun movies. I got out to see both of these on the big screen this weekend, and right out of the gate, I can say they were worth the tickets. I wanted to make sure and get the review put together before too much time had passed, so hopefully this is still kind of semi-relevant. But let's dig in, starting with Frankenstein. I have to say first, I'm not really a Guillermo del Toro aficionado or anything. I mostly am familiar with him from Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, more recently Pinocchio and his Cabinet of Curiosities show, which I liked all of those things a lot, but I'm not a diehard or anything, so I don't know every influence that he's working with. But he has some strong artistic stances that I really respect. I kind of followed a little bit in the sort of the junkets and stuff that were coming out before this movie, and so yeah, I was excited to see it, and it also helps that there's kind of been a bit of a revival in the last few years for classic monsters. So there was a lot going for Frankenstein even before I went to the movies. But in short, it lives up to it. It has just about everything you'd expect from a Gothic literature adaptation. It's not really horror in the sense that Nosferatu was. It focuses kind of more on the atmosphere of dread and kind of the philosophical underpinnings of the story, but there's still no shortage of grim and gory imagery, and the character performances have just the right amount of drama and mania, so they did a really good job. The soundtrack, I will say, just kind of works, but it's definitely the visuals and the acting that are the real star of the show, which is probably as it should be. I am a big fan of movie scores, and so I like it when they really grab me. This one not so much, but it did the job. The movie visually, though, is full of gorgeous shots and symbols that complement the story and the cast. Even the costumes do a great job adding to everything, so they really knocked it out of the park visually. I think that part of what made it especially interesting, for me at least, was kind of separating the pop culture from the original story. I know a little bit about the original novel. I've probably read it once, but definitely over the years, the tropes and cliches that have sort of been born from Hollywood adaptations and public perception have definitely diluted that memory. So whatever I thought I knew, I couldn't be sure about. And to be fair, even Del Toro's version here it's aiming to be closer to the original, but it's still an adaptation, and it takes some liberties, makes some changes. But one thing that I definitely noted is the story was a lot simpler than I remembered. And I do know for sure that it ends a little bit differently than the book. But overall, it was really well told. That's not a complaint at all. It was just kind of fun to notice the things that you expect from Frankenstein based on years and years of pop culture that are or aren't included in the movie. So I would recommend it, especially if you've already got the streaming service, but it definitely makes great big screen viewing. So if you're in one of the areas where they're doing kind of the limited release, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And then we had a pretty big shift in tone with Predator Badlands. Dan Trachtenberg has been on a tear in the Predator setting, and I would say he is 3 for 3 with Badlands. This movie does a lot of fun new things with the Predator mythos. For starters, using one of the Yautja as the protagonist is really interesting, and a perfect way to kind of give a little peek into the culture of the aliens and develop it a little bit. As a longtime fan of Alien vs. Predator myself, I was also really happy to see them keeping the door wide open for involving Weyland-Yutani and the Alien franchise. Don't know where or if they're gonna dig more into that in the future, but you know, I would honestly be surprised if they didn't, because it was so prevalent in this movie. Action-wise, I mean, it's an action movie, and the action's a ton of fun, and as with all of the best Predator stories, the characters use some really cool ingenuity to beat the odds, and they set them up against a lot of really interesting threats throughout the movie that they have to puzzle around. So that was really cool, and they make some neat creative choices that let the movie be just about as brutal as any of the ones that have come before and still not crack an R rating. So it's really accessible, but I don't know if I would take my kid to see it or anything. I'll say I kind of missed some of the classic soundtrack motifs. I have to bring up the soundtrack because, of course, but there was some cool new sounds in this one. I would say if there was anything else that was not stand out, I wasn't 100% sold on Elle Fanning's synth protagonist. I mean, the movie kind of addresses what makes her the way she is, but I felt like she still kind of came across peppier than I would expect for a synth. But I guess that might have a little bit more to do kind of with the tone of all the other stories that we've seen the synths in so far. So your mileage may vary. I will say that for the most part, the added lightness was at least entertaining. It wasn't a huge distraction, and yeah, more often than not, it still landed. So not exactly a deep story or anything, but a very fun ride, and I'm definitely still convinced that the series is in good hands. I'm looking forward to seeing what Trachtenberg does next with it. So at this point, I cannot say if I'm more interested to see a sequel to Prey or Badlands next. But if you had a chance to get out and see Frankenstein or Prey, let me know what you thought, and which one you liked more, and what you're looking forward to now. I don't exactly have anything on the docket. I'm kind of thinking about going to see Keepers, but I haven't decided yet, so we'll see. But thanks for tuning in, and until next time, this is Daft Pirate signing off.